Thank you and welcome. This is Boniface Wanjala, commonly known as Boni the Tech. I am an IT and physical security system specialist from Kenya. You can reach me if you have any queries after this video. You can reach me through my email address below and my telephone number. Please welcome. Today we're going to talk about an Apache, how to sort out, or rather to troubleshoot an Apache service that is not starting. And I'm going to use Xampp web server version 3.2 just to try and give you a rough troubleshooting steps, or rather simple troubleshooting steps for you to maneuver through this issue. It is a common issue, by the way, and many people fail to understand how to go about it. Basically, talking about Xampp web server, please note there are over 50 web servers around so far, and the number is still growing. Just to name a few of them, under Apache web servers, we have Xampp, Caddy, Apache Tomcat, Tornado, Mump, Wamp, Lamp, Monkey web server, etc. Nginx. Actually, this name, many people have a problem in pronouncing it, so actually it's like Nginx. We pronounce it as Nginx. And we have Microsoft IIS, LightPD. This is another name that has an issue on pronunciation. It is actually pronounced as LightPD. We have Lightspeed. We have Oracle iPlanet, Mongrel, and Mongrel 2, Mongoose, Virtuoso Universal Server, USG. This is another name that has a pronunciation problem. You will hear some people say micro whiskey. You will hear others say whiskey, but I recommend USG. USG. And other servers. As I said, there's over 50 web servers, so these are just a few of them that I can list at the moment, just to save on time, and just to take you through the Apache web servers. Someone may ask, why Xampp, why Mump, why Wamp, and why Lamp? Basically, the difference is Xampp. The X in Xampp means cross-platform. This is actually a free and cross-platform web server developed by Apache friends. If someone may get Mump, this is basically developed for Mac operating systems. That is, M represents Mac OS. Wamp, W represents Windows, and Lamp for Linux operating systems. So basically, many people would recommend you to use Xampp because of its cross-platform compatibility or other usage. It's actually used by many people around, many institutions or organizations around. So it is very important to understand what different names mean and for what purposes are they meant for. Today I'm just going to take you through troubleshooting an Apache service in Xampp web server, as I said earlier. And yeah, I have highlighted a few simple troubleshooting steps. First, we will need to check on the service listening port, which port the service is listening to. And in my case, I will go to drive C, Xampp Apache config. Then we are interested in this file, httpd.config. We actually, please remember to change the drive path if you have installed your Xampp your Xampp web server on a different drive path. After checking the port from this file, we can actually now go open our command prompt, or rather via our command line we can enter this command. I will show you in this video what this actually means. netstart -ano. netstart is a network utility. It's a command that is used to provide information and statistics about protocols in use and network connections. After running the command, it will list for you the processes and the process IDs and ports that are in use and those ones that are not in use, and you can actually go ahead and identify the exact service name that is listening the service that is listening to the port by running the command task list. You can match the PID and service name to identify the exact service, and from that you're able to actually decide whether you require the service or on your machine or not. You can disable. If you don't require it, you can disable or uninstall it. If the service is required, then proceed to changing the Apache service HTTP port as follows. Sorry for that. First, let's now check. Oh no, we launch our Xampp. Sorry, it's there. It's here. Now this is our Apache control panel, Xampp control panel. If I try to start this, I've just installed it, and when I try to start, it actually not launching. It is actually not launching, but my MySQL service is launching. Sorry for that. So this tells us there's a problem somewhere with Apache service. Yes, and in our status window, we're able to check on the error status. We're able to check on the status. Actually, it is saying Apache is shut down unexpectedly. This may be due to a blocked port, missing dependencies, improper privileges, a crash, or a shutdown by another method. And you can also actually go to logs and check what type of errors are being displayed there, or you can go to Windows Event Viewer for more clues. So we will actually start with the first suggestion here. This may be due to a blocked port, and if we do not find a solution after changing our port or identifying what port it is being used, then we can actually proceed to these other suggestions that we've been given just for our assistance. How do we check this? Now, if from the slide I say that you go to your installation folder, my installation folder as C, Xampp, Apache, and config folder, and then yes, this folder, this file, we are interested in this file, actually this file, to check which port Apache service is listening on. We actually have, on my case, I have it listening on port 80, which is actually the default port. And so what I'll do, I'll try to check, I'll run command prompt and try to check what this port 80 is, what process is running under this port. And so I will Let's first of all understand what our command netstart means. I actually said netstart means network statistics. It actually provides us the information and statistics about protocols in use and network connections. And so here we have -a means it displays all connections and listening ports. B displays the executable involved in creating each connections or listening port. Let's go down to N, displays addresses and port numbers in a numerical form, and O displays the owning process ID associated with each connection. And so we can do netstart -ano to just check on our port and see what process is it being what process is running on this port. Yes, here we are. We have port 80 listening under PID4. So that means our port is being used, and so that's why the service is not starting, and we have to find a solution here. Before we find a solution, yeah, we have several of them actually. No, okay. Before we find a solution, we need to understand which process actually is under PID4, and that is why I gave you the command task list. This assists you to understand the exact process name or the service name that is running under that port. And here my process is under my case, process ID 4 is running under a system name, and so I need this because if I disable this, there are some key processes that will not be running. And I am a programmer also, so I will be missing out some of my services. And so that means I need to change the port of my Apache service. How do I do this? Before I do that, I need to check whether port 81 is being in use. So I'll come back to netstart and check if port 81 is being used. Okay, it's not there, so this tells us port 81 is not being used. So back to our Apache control panel. There are two ways to change this. You can either go to config and open that file and change it from here, or back to our initial file that we opened under the installation folder. You able to change this to 81. Remember, we said 81 is not in use, so we hope it will work for us. And after saving, we can actually just confirm from here that yeah, it has changed, and try to start. Yay! Here it is. It has started. HTTP port 81, HTTPS port 443, MySQL under the if default port 3306, and we can now proceed to launch PHPMyAdmin. and see what happens. Yes, we have an error. This is actually, it's obvious we have an error because our PHPMyAdmin has tried to launch from its default port that we saw before, the port 80, and so we need to change we need to change that to our port 81 and see what, yeah, here it is. It has launched, and you can now proceed with your database migration, importing, exporting, or creating tables, creating new databases,